We are back here today with another top 30 positional ranking, and today we're going to be doing shooting guards. Last week I did point guards, and I mentioned in that video that every Sunday leading up to the NBA season, I will be doing some type of ranking video on the channel. So as you can guess, next week will be small forwards, power forwards, centers. We're going to be doing the top 25 under 25, ranking every NBA team going next year, ranking the top 50 players in the NBA. That one should be fun. And yeah, we're going to be ranking the top 30 shooting guards today. I will have a decent amount of honorable mentions. Shooting guard is an interesting position because some players may be like half shooting guard, half point guard, half shooting guard, half small forward. So if there's a relatively good player that isn't mentioned in this video, it's not because I left them off the list. It's probably because they're going to be in the small forward video or they were in the point guard video. If you guys do enjoy these, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up, and let's get a lively discussion in the comments about these rankings. And without further ado, let's get into it. So coming in at the number 30 spot, we have Jordan Clarkson of the Utah Jazz. And I'd like to preface this, Jordan Clarkson being the 30th best shooting guard in the NBA, in my opinion, in 2024, just shows how deep this position really is. I do think Jordan Clarkson is a great sixth man in the league, and he did average 21 points for the Utah Jazz last year. I'm just not the biggest fan of his shot selection and efficiency at times. He did shoot 44% from the field, 33 from 3 last year. The year prior in Utah, he shot 41% from the field and 31% from 3. And when he won Sixth Man of the Year in 2021, he shot 42% from the field and 34% from 3. And now these rankings are based off their 2024 season and how I think they will perform. And with the Jazz adding a bunch of wings throughout the offseason, especially rookies that they want to get a decent amount of playing time, I do wonder if Clarkson's numbers are going to stay the same from what they've been over the last 3 years. We have Trent Jr. of the Toronto Raptors coming in at the number 29 spot. It's crazy. Trent Jr. is still only 24 years old. Like Clarkson, I do think Trent can be very streaky at times. He did opt into his $18.5 million player option this offseason, and I was kind of surprised to see that. I thought he was going to opt out and try to get a multi-year deal on the free agency market, but maybe after seeing what Jordan Clarkson got and still not seeing like Kelly Oubre signed, Trent took his money. Ever since coming to Toronto in the midway point of the 2021 season, he's averaged 17 points and a steal and a half a night, but he averages 41% from the field. Like I said, streaky three-point shooter, but an overall 38% from downtown, which is pretty solid. Trent can also be pretty inconsistent on the defensive end at times, and I think this is a solid spot for him. Coming in at 28, we have Bennedict Mathurin of the Indiana Pacers. Mathurin will be going into year 2, and he had as good of a start last year as any rookie. His first 18 career games, he averaged just under 20 points a night, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and shot 42% from 3. But then over the next 58 games to end his rookie campaign, he shot 43% from the field and 26% from 3. His efficiency did drop off a decent amount, and that was in a much larger sample size as well. And I do think Mathurin's going to be a good player, and I think the Pacers made a fantastic selection drafting him 6th overall in the 2022 NBA draft. I just don't think he's going to have a better season than 27 other guys on this list. Coming in at number 27, we have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope of the Denver Nuggets. Now KCP, probably the least skilled scorer out of anybody I mentioned so far in this video. But hey, this ranking isn't about scoring, it's also about defensive play as well. And Caldwell-Pope just knows his role. He shot 43% last year for the Denver Nuggets and was a vital part of their championship run. He's exactly what you want from a 3-and-D veteran, and he just turned 30 years old as well. I do think Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is one of the more underrated players in the NBA. Man, I am so excited about the player coming in at number 26 next year, and that is Shadeon Sharpe of the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, I'll be a little bit more excited about him if the Blazers do end up trading Damian Lillard, because that will provide a more higher usage role for Shadeon next year in his second season. Shadeon Sharpe got really inconsistent playing time and usage throughout his first 70 games, but in his final 10 games, when Damian Lillard wasn't playing, he averaged 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, and shot 38% from 3. Now, I don't think Shadeon Sharpe is going to average that over an 82-game season in his second year, but I do think we're going to see massive improvements on both sides of the ball from Sharpe. And hey, when I'm making this list going into the 2025 season, there's a good chance I think he will have a top 15 shooting guard year in that season. All right, yeah, there was like 10 honorable mentions that I thought about that I could have at the 30 spot. So we have Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls. I think that contract is going to provide good value for them. Quentin Grimes of the New York Knicks. He could really break out this season. Eric Gordon of the Phoenix Suns. He's getting up there in age, but still a good shooter nonetheless. Malachi Branham of the San Antonio Spurs. I'm so excited to watch him in his second year. We got Dante DiVincenzo of the New York Knicks. I don't think he's going to score as much as some of these other guys or really have as important important of a role on the offensive end, but he's going to be everywhere on the defensive side of the ball, I think. We have Andrew Nembhard of the Indiana Pacers. He had a really good rookie year for given how late he was drafted in the 2022 draft. Isaiah Joe of the OKC Thunder, one of the more underrated shooters in the NBA. Three more, we got Josh Green of the Dallas Mavericks. I think he could be a great 3-and-D guy for them this season. We have Ochai Agbaji for the Utah Jazz. He could possibly break out this season. Hopefully he's not blocked by Jordan Clarkson. And then lastly, we have Luke Kennard of the Memphis Grizzlies, still one of the better 3-point shooters in the league. All right, so at number 25, we do have Malik Monk of the Sacramento Kings. Now, I may be a little bit higher on Malik Monk than some other people, but Malik Monk is going into his age 25 season. He had a great year last year for the Kings, and I think it took a little bit of time for him to really get acclimated into this new role in Sacramento, but I think he really found a home. Over his final 10 games, he averaged 19 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 3 assists for the Kings. But what I really loved about Monk's game was how he performed in the playoffs last year. Not the most efficient 7-game series against the Warriors, but he did come through, averaging 19 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. It was also money from the line, getting there 7 times a night and shooting 90% from there. And then coming in at number 24, we have Monk's teammate in Sacramento, Kevin Huerter. Now, Kevin Huerter last year throughout the regular season was a top 3 shooter in all of basketball. He averaged 15 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. He shot 40% from 3 on 7 attempts a night, also shot 48% from the field. The only reason I don't have Huerter a little bit higher is because what I saw from him in the playoffs. He did struggle against Golden State, only averaging 9 points a night, shooting 34% from the field and 20% from 3. But I do think that Huerter will have a top 25 shooting guard season in 2024. Next up at 23, we have Jaden Ivey going into his second year with the Detroit Pistons. Now, Ivey's efficiency wasn't anything crazy if you look at his 74-game rookie season, where he averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. But over the second half of the season in 37 games, he did average 17.5 points, 6.5 assists, 4 rebounds, and shot 36% from 3, which was a knock on Ivey's game coming out of Purdue. I do think he improved a tad bit on the defensive side of the ball, but that's the big thing from Ivey. I do think he will improve much on his rookie season in year 2 for what he's going to give for you on the defensive side of the ball, because at times at the start of his career, he was a liability. But hey, he's a rookie guard in Detroit. He's not going to be perfect right away. And I do think we're going to see a nice jump from Ivey in year 2. Now we got Immanuel Quickley at number 22, and I think Immanuel Quickley is one of the more underrated defenders in the league, because Quickley is as streaky of a shooter as they come. He shot under 40% from the field and from 3 in his first 2 seasons. But last year, he really broke out for the New York Knicks. He finished second in 6th Man of the Year voting. He shot 45% from the field, 37% from 3, 82% from the line, averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 3.5 assists for the Knicks. The defensive metrics really show that Quickley is one of the better young guards in the league on the defensive side of the ball, and I do think he's going to get a massive payday at the end of the 2024 season. Now, I know he had a down year last year, but we got Terry Rozier coming in at number 21. I know his efficiency wasn't there, 41% from the field, 32% from 3, but if you look at his 4-year sample size since coming over to Charlotte from Boston in the 2019 offseason, Rozier has averaged 20 points, 4.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, and has shot 37% from 3. And also, if you look at the 3-point shooting metrics, he's one of the better spot-up shooters in the league. I do think Rozier is a tad bit underrated. Like some of these other guys on this list that I have mentioned being underrated, Rozier is because of his market as well, playing in Charlotte. Coming in at number 20, we have Norman Powell of the LA Clippers. I'm surprised Powell wasn't in more conversation for being 6th Man of the Year last year. He averaged 17 points, 3 rebounds on 48% shooting, 39, almost 40% from 3, and shot 80+% from the line. He was very efficient for the Clippers, as he's pretty much been in the league since he entered it, and really breaking out for Toronto in the 2020 season, playing good basketball in Portland for basically a year and a half, and now could headline a James Harden trade, who knows. Coming in at number 19, we have Devin Vassell of the San Antonio Spurs. I am super high on him going into his 4th year. I do think that people are going to really see how good Vassell is, because everyone's going to be tuned into Spurs games to watch Wemby, not realizing Vassell kind of broke out last year, going from 12 points in his 2nd year to 18.5 last season, averaging also 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists, over a steal a night, and shot 44% from the field and 38% from 3. He could be a really good 3-and-D guy in this league at his peak level, and I think there's a chance that he's the highest scorer on the Spurs in 2024. So coming in at number 18, we have Derek White of the Boston Celtics. Now, it seems like Derek White might play more point guard this season, so possibly in the mid-season update, I'm going to be ranking him as a point guard, but White is kind of a do-it-all 2 guard. He did struggle against the Sixers in the playoffs, at least on the offensive side side of the ball. But in round 1 against Atlanta and round 3 against Miami, he really showed out, playing great in that Atlanta series, averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists. And also in that Miami series, he hit that game winner to keep that series alive. He shot 46% from the field last year and 38% from 3, much better than what he did in his first 26 games in Boston, coming over from the Spurs in the 2022 trade deadline. White's going into his age 29 season. He's in his prime, and with Marcus Smart gone, he's going to get more guard minutes in that backcourt for Boston, and I'm super excited to see what Derek White can do this season. Coming in at number 17, we have Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets. I do think Jalen Green's numbers are going to stay relatively similar to what we saw from him in 2023, where he averaged 22 points, 3.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shot 41% from the field, 33% from 3. Now, I do think he's going to take a little bit of a step in his efficiency because I don't think he's going to be taking as many bad shots, adding Fred VanVleet, Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks, hopefully a step from Alperen Sengun and Jabari Smith. Green isn't going to be asked to do as much as he did in his first 2 years for Houston because he was in a really bad situation. What I want to see from Jalen Green is for him to really buy in on the defensive side of the ball under Ime Udoka, because I think if he can use his 6'4" frame and his insane athletic ability to be a top 20 defensive shooting guard, maybe not next year, but eventually throughout his career, and he could touch up on his efficiency a tad bit, he could be one of the better shooting guards in the league at his peak. We got Anfernee Simons coming in here at number 16 for the Portland Trailblazers. This is all relative on if Damian Lillard will actually get traded, and we're going to see a higher opportunity for Anfernee Simons, who kind of broke out last year if he didn't in 2022. He took 17 shots a game for Portland last year, and he shot almost 45% from the field. He shot 37% from 3 on 9 attempts a night. He was one of the better 3-point shooters in the league, and he averaged 21 points and 4 assists. He's a solid playmaker. He's a good scorer within the half court, and I'm really eager to see what Anfernee Simons can do as possibly the number 1 option on that Trailblazers team if Dame does get traded. We got RJ Barrett coming in at number 15 as a member of the New York Knicks. Barrett has been pretty consistent over the last 3 years. His rookie year was kind of a mess for the Knicks, but 2 out of his 3 years in the league, he's made the playoffs. Not a lot of Knicks can say that over the last 20 years. He averaged 19.5 points a game last year. Also gave the Knicks 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Now, the efficiency is also a big thing with RJ Barrett, but what gets me excited is what he did for them in the playoffs, especially at the end of the Cleveland series and in the Miami series, because in that Miami series in 6 games, he shot 38% from 3 and averaged 21 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Now, a thing with RJ, he has to realize he's not the best 3-point shooter in the world. And if he's not going to work on that, he's got to realize that's not going to be a major part of his game. And he's got to work at getting to the rim, which he's actually great at, but he has to work on finishing at an elite level. Now, he's played great so far for Canada in the FIBA international scrimmage games so far this offseason. So hopefully Rowan Alexander Barrett can take that momentum into his 5th year in the NBA. We got Jordan Poole coming in at number 14 of the Washington Wizards. Poole was traded this offseason in that deal that sent Chris Paul from Washington after getting traded from Phoenix to Golden State. Now, I think Poole will average a career high in points after averaging 20.5 last year. I would like to see him not take a big hit in his efficiency, though. He did take 15.5 shots a night. He may take almost 20 next season. And if his efficiency could still be around what he did for Golden State in 2022, where he finished top 3 in the most improved player voting and was a vital part of their 2022 championship run, Jordan Poole could possibly be a fringe top 10 shooting guard going into 2025. Coming in at number 13, I feel like we have a player that's become somewhat underrated, and that's Tyler Hero of the Miami Heat. It's really because the Heat made it to the NBA Finals without Hero, who got hurt in round 1 against Milwaukee. But Hero has been one of the better 3-point shooters in the league since he entered the NBA. He's played 4 years in the league, he's played 4 years in the NBA after getting drafted out of Kentucky in 2019. And over those 4 years, he's averaged 38% from 3. He's also shot 44% from the field, which you'd like to be a little bit better. But he's averaged over 20 points per game the last 2 seasons. And oh yeah, he led the NBA in free throw percentage at 93% last year. He won the 2022 Sixth Man of the Year award. And there's a chance he headlines a Damian Lillard trade. Tyler Hero is going to prove a lot of people wrong in 2024. All right, guys, I'm doing it. I am sipping the Austin Reeves juice. I have him here at number 12. Because when I was making this ranking, I was like, okay, is Austin Reeves actually good? Or does he have that Lakers hype, that undrafted hype? I wasn't too sure. So I went back, I watched what he did against Denver in the Western Conference Finals. I watched some of his more important games throughout the regular season. And oh yeah, he's playing well for Team USA in the FIBA scrimmages. So he not only made the team, he's playing well for them. Now, there was times last year where Austin Reeves was kind of a free throw merchant, I won't lie. But over his last 18 regular season games, he averaged 18.5 points, 6 assists, 3.5 rebounds, and shot 57 from the field and 43% from 3, as well as 85% from the line on 7 free throw attempts a night. That is really good stuff. And he did that against teams like Golden State, Memphis, New York, Philadelphia, and that also includes what he did against Memphis, Golden State, and Denver. And I know they got swept in that Denver series, but it wasn't because of him, where he averaged 21 points, 5.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds on elite efficiency. I think Austin Reeves will be the clear-cut third best player for the Lakers next year. It's not like he's 21 years old, he's 25, so he's going into his prime as a basketball player. Coming in at number 11, we have Josh Giddey of the OKC Thunder. It's funny because I don't really know what position Josh Giddey is. He plays a little bit of shooting guard, small forward, power forward. So for this ranking here, I'm going to lock him in as a shooting guard. That may change in the midseason update. And Giddey put up some crazy stat lines in his second year in the NBA in his age 20 season. He's only 20 years old still. He averaged 16.5 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. He's a phenomenal rebounder for somebody that can play the shooting guard position. He's 6'8". He also shot 48% from the field last year, and he improved from his rookie year at 26% from 3 to 32% from 3 in year 2. So if he can get that up to like 34, 35, 36%, we could be talking about Josh Giddey as a top 10 shooting guard next year. One spot ahead of Giddey, starting out the top 10, I got Tyrese Maxey coming in at the 10th spot. Maxey was phenomenal in his third year in the NBA, averaging 20 points, shooting 48% from the field, 43% from 3, 85% from the line. It was a weird season to start for Maxey because he got hurt, then he was coming off the bench, but then he really showed that he was the third best player on the Sixers team, and at sometimes the second best, even better than James Harden. And if Harden does get moved, this is going to open up even a larger opportunity for Maxey to really average more career highs and could score over 22 points a night in his 4th season and get the absolute bag from the Sixers in the 2024 offseason. It was so nice to see Klay Thompson kind of come back to Klay Thompson of old last season, and that's why he's coming in at the number 9 spot. He was really good in 2023. He averaged 22 points a night, which was the 3rd highest of his career, and he shot 43% from the field, which is a little bit lower than what he had before the knee and Achilles injuries, but he did shoot 41% from 3, which was better than what he did in 2019. He was also an elite free throw shooter, and his defense has lost a step, yes, and that's probably why he's trending down in these rankings rather than up, but Klay Thompson is still one of the better shooting guards in the NBA. Man, I'm so excited to watch Desmond Bane, who I think's an underrated player on this list and can really ball out through the first 20 games while Ja Morant is out. Bane is actually one of the best overall shooters in this league, shooting 43% as a rookie from downtown. Then the same thing, 43% in year 2, and shot 41% last year. He also shot 48% from the field, averaged 21.5 points, 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. I'd like to see him improve a little bit on the defensive end going into his 4th year, but I think with Ja Morant being out, he could be the number 1 scorer for the Grizzlies, and it will be a no-brainer to have him in the top 8. This might be the final time that we can rank Bradley Beal as a shooting guard. It looks like he might play a little bit more point guard for Phoenix with Devin Booker at the 2, and he's coming in at the number 7 spot. I think we have underrated Beal just a tad bit because Washington really hasn't done that much team-wise, really since Beal entered the NBA, and I'm excited to see Beal on a team that actually has championship aspirations, because Beal is an elite shooter. He has great efficiency, can get to the rim with ease, can finish there, good spot up shooter, good catch and shoot, good off the dribble, but I'm so excited to watch him buy in on the defensive side of the ball, because we see that from guys when they get traded to a good team after being on a team that's just been bad for so long, because Beal is going to really up his competitive edge and be able to defend, probably unlike he has in important games really since Washington was possibly in the 2018 playoffs. I was kind of hoping Zach Lavine was going to get traded this offseason. He's coming in at number 6 with the Bulls. It was more for the Bulls' sake than Zach Lavine's, because I do think that the Bulls should be going in a different direction as a team. And I thought they can get a great haul for Zach Lavine because he averaged 25 points last year, 4.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shot 48% from the field and 37% from 3. And over the last 2 years, Zach Lavine has stayed relatively healthy. 67 games in 2022 and 77 in 2023. And besides him getting hurt really in his first year in Chicago in 2018, where he only played 24 games, he's played over 60 games in 4 out of the last 5 seasons with Chicago. And he's still only 28 years old. We have maybe the best two-way shooting guard in this list coming in at number 5, and that's Mikal Bridges of the Brooklyn Nets. Bridges, in the 27 games he played in after getting traded to Brooklyn in the Kevin Durant deal, he averaged 26 points, 4.5 rebounds on great efficiency as well, where his field goals attempt per night went from 13.5 to 18.5, and his field goal percentage actually went up, and his three-point percentage dropped just from 38% to 37%. So this dude can be a great scorer, 25 plus points a night at an elite efficiency level. There's a good chance Mikal Bridges wins most improved player this season. I got a breakout player coming in here at number 4. Maybe not breaking out because we kind of saw that maybe last year, especially in the playoffs in round 1, but really taking a step to being an elite player in the league, and that's Anthony Edwards. There's a reason why he's one of the more important players on Team USA this offseason. Edwards averaged 24.5 points in his third year in the league, shooting 46 from the field, 37 from 3, and he's coming off a 31.5 point elite efficiency 5-game playoff series against the Nuggets. He's gonna hopefully take that momentum, Team USA's momentum, a new contract extension momentum going into his age 22 season, and have the best year of his career so far. Coming in at number 3, we have Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics. Brown was also an interesting player to rank because he's kind of half shooting guard, half small forward, but we got Tatum in the small forward rankings, so I was like, let's do Jaylen Brown in the shooting guard rankings. Yeah, and he's coming off that fresh supermax. He's gonna be the highest paid player in the NBA in 5 seasons. He's one of the better two-way guards in this league overall, and I know he did struggle in the playoffs, but let's not underrate Jaylen Brown. This dude's coming off a 26 point per game season, shooting 49% from the field at the age of 26. So coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah, I ended up going with Donovan Mitchell at the number 2 spot. He had the best year of his career last year, his first one in Cleveland after getting traded over from Utah in the 2022 offseason. Mitchell averaged 28 points, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, a steal and a half a night for the Cavs on elite efficiency, 48% from the field, 38% from 3, and 86 from the line. He had one of the best offensive performances I've ever seen in like my history of watching the NBA on January 2nd, where he scored 71 points and also had 11 assists as well. And there's a good chance Donovan Mitchell is number 1 in this ranking at year's end. But at number 1, we have Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. And the reason why I have Devin Booker over Donovan Mitchell is just because of his playoff performances last season. In round 1 against the Clippers, he averaged 37 points. 37 points in those 5 games. Also 5 rebounds, 6.5 assists on 60% shooting. 60% with the 6. He was also elite in round 2 against the Nuggets, in which they lost, but he averaged 30 points and was 57, 55, 87 splits. That is just kind of insane. And besides his Western Conference Finals performance in 2021, in which they beat the Clippers, he has been elite in every single one of his playoff series. So we know that Devin Booker will show up in the playoffs and in the regular season, averaging 28 points, 5.5 assists, and 4.5 rebounds last year for Phoenix. And I don't think those numbers are going to change too much, even with the addition of Bradley Beal. So I hope you guys did enjoy my top 30 shooting guard ranking for 2024. If you disagree with any of these, let me know in the comments. Can we maybe get 1,000 likes on this video? Hope you guys are excited for the small forward rankings that will come out next Sunday. I'll see you guys there. Hope you guys have a great Sunday yourselves, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.